Welcome back, guys, and let's continue from where we left off in the last episode. So now we can create our card service. So sometimes we might want to make some updates to maybe our API key, our API endpoint, such that the necessary request goes through the right location. And as such, we want to update our card service. That should be quite straightforward. So let's come back to our code to implement that. So we come back to the card service. We can close this for now. So we already have the structure to update the card service. So all we have to do is to just implement this. And here we're going to have value, so we can have card service. And for this, we're going to be using the card service basic param or param basic. And that's why I separated them from the beginning. And the basic param is going to include the data we can update. So that's why we have the updated at here. So that's why the created at is here, because it's only going to happen once. So yeah, that's just about that. So we have the information now. We are going to have the eViewer. So let's copy all this. All right, so yeah, we have all we need, still the same thing. So now we can update the updated ads. So we can update it to the current time. And finally, we can perform our database updates. So here is a straightforward flow. We have all this. And finally, we can return error. But remember, we are kind of managing our error handling from here. So yeah, while we return error, we can check if error exists. So if error is not new, then we can return the error. So obviously, in this case, it's not a situation of bad request. We've handled that already. So anything that made us have an error here is most likely an internal server error. And that's why we're doing with this. And before we move on, let's quickly take a look at how this is even happening. So we are updating one, we specify the context, and we are updating where the ID is username. So we locate where ID is the username, which is our unique ID anyways. Then we set the card service, we update the data. And that's all we need to do to perform this. Let's see if this works. So at the moment, this is what our data looks like. Looking good. So let's run back to Postman. Let's duplicate this. Or better still, before we come to Postman, let's actually come back to the API to implement the update flow. So at the moment, we only have the create flow. We've not done the update flow. So again, it's going to be quite straightforward. We are going to do all this. So if you want, we can extract all that into a separate function, which ensures that we are performing the same thing. But I would not bother about that for now. Then I'll copy all this. Actually, it's the same thing. So this time around, this is going to be update service, and this will be service updated. Okay, so that's all we have to do. Let's confirm that the server is running. Then come back to Postman. Let's duplicate this. So updates. So the only difference here is that this is an update, and this is a patch. Okay, so we still specify the param as before. We still have our body as the same, and if we send this, here we have service is updated, and if we take a look, everything should still be the same aside from the updated at. So let's have something that is mostly visible. So at the moment, the endpoint is V1. Let's change that to V2. Okay, service updated. Let's refresh. So now we have V2, which makes sense. So now our service updated flow is working. And from the look of things, we have one more endpoint to complete our backend setup for FISA. So I'm going to do that in the next episode and round it up for the backend flow. See you in that one, and bye for now.